Hey everybody, my name is Jeff Trimble.
And I'm Chanel, his wife.
Yes, this is my wife, of course. And welcome to Matrimony Ever After. So today we are going to be talking about getting your big butts out of the way. Now, if you're like me and you seen the title like that, you'll be like, what in the world are you talking about?
Right.
We are not talking about what you're sitting on right now. We are talking about your stipulations, okay? So, come here, come a little closer. Come just a little bit closer. I got a secret I want to share with you. Did you know that the only person that can keep you away from your blessings is you? You're the only person, not your spouse, not your mom, not your enemy. Nobody can keep you away from your blessings but yourself. And I am a firm believer that our stipulations keep us away from our blessings. So we are going to share with you guys a few stories in the Bibles kind of depicting this. And then we're going to intertwine that with what we're dealing with, you know, in our marriage and what we see other people deal with, okay?
Right.
So the first figure that we're going to discuss today is a very famous one, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Moses.
Everybody know him.
You know who Moses is?
Yeah.
Okay.
He let the people go. He split.
He split it.
Split.
Yes. Let my people go.
It's great.
Okay.
It's great.
So Moses, this was one of the figures who, like she said, led God's people. He basically took the Israelites who were enslaved to the Egyptians and he led them to the promised land. Now, everybody knows that, but fun fact, did you know that Moses had a stuttering problem? Did you know that?
I didn't know that until I was an adult. I actually, according to all the movies and all of that, he was the one talking. See, what y'all ain't know was his brother Aaron was hooking up the speeches.
That's right. And so I have a Bible verse to support that. So Exodus chapter 4, verse 10. Moses said to the Lord, "Pardon your servant, Lord. I have never been eloquent, neither in the past nor since you have spoken to your servant. I am slow of speech and tongue." Right. He had a speech impediment. And God had basically spoke through him through a burning bush, and he basically told him, "I need you to lead my people to freedom." And the first thing that he told him, "Well, God, I hear you, but I have this speech issue. How can I do that?" How often does that happen? Like, even, okay, in today's world, what was a but that you had, maybe before marrying me or meeting me, what was a but you had for a spouse?
A spouse? Okay, so because I was a mother, single mom, I thought that since the guys I was trying to date and all of that, it wasn't working out, and I was like, I really think maybe there's somebody out there for me, but I'm a single mom, so I have baggage, and I was like, well, I was kind of okay with being alone for the rest of my life because I just didn't want to have to deal with all the stuff that comes with, all of that. All of that.
And I'm sure a lot of people have that feeling, and I think a lot of that has to do with self-worth, knowing that, okay, yes, I'm a single mother, but that's not your title.
Right.
And I think we talked about that before. We get caught up in these short-term titles, and we allow that to define us, and that's not who God says you are. And thankfully, you kind of, you got over that, and you realized that, you were a single mother, but you still deserve to be loved, and you deserve to have a husband just like anybody else. So that was awesome that you got over that. I would say a but that I had was very similar to yours, except for on the other, I guess, side of the spectrum, and it was that coming into this, I was not a father. So I, thought that I pretty much had got my ducks in a row. I wanted to
He was 21.
Wanted to be educated.
Hot, okay. He was fine.
Okay, guys. So back to the topic. No, but
he had it together. He was going places, and
And so I always had said, and it's a bit shallow now looking back on it, but I was like, okay, well, you know what? I don't have any kids. I don't want to date anybody with kids. I thought that it was fair for me to say, okay, I don't bring kids to the table, so I don't want you know, my lady bringing any kids to the table. And it's so funny how when you put them type of stipulations on your blessings,
Right.
how God will bring that to you, and you know,
It's
and
on
boom.
you
That's
to
right.
to accept the blessing, or you gonna pass it up.
That's right. Here it is. My wife, had I had kept that mentality, think about what I would be missing out on right now. Think about how the things that we've accomplished together, the things that
Yeah.
I've accomplished for myself, that maybe she seen something in me and spoke that into my life. I wouldn't have been here had I rested on that. But well, I want a wife, but like that's not cool. You got another one that you had maybe?
No, not before we got married.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Not really.
What is a common one that you would say, maybe a friend or what you've seen in other people of something that a young lady would say for a
Ooh,
spouse?
child. Okay. Here's one. I like his family. I like him, but we ain't on the same pay grade.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's way further successful than I am, and he ain't gonna want to take care of me. That seems super duper shallow, but like most of those kind of buts are shallow. It's more to a person than their education, than how much money they make. Because there's some people out here that don't make no money that are worth way more than what they're getting paid. And then like I said, it's just shallow, and that's what I think most ladies kind of look at.
I would say for men, a very common one has to do with the outer appearance. You know, a man to say, well, you know, I want a wife, but she has to be light skinned, or she has to have natural hair, or she has to have straight hair, or she has to look a certain type of way. And unfortunately, I am a firm believer that you need to be attracted to who you're dating, who you're married to. That is a very essential part to being happy and satisfied in your marriage. However,
looks are not everything,
not.
because child, they'll look nice and be so ugly in the inside.
Yes, and that diminishes the way that a person looks to you anyway. So we need to get off of those butts. And that's not just something that young people deal with. I hear a lot of older people.
Yes.
Older people who are single now or been single for a long time. They have a lot of those stipulations. And
I know somebody in particular. I ain't gonna call them out, but it's a lady. She's older, and she really likes this guy, but he got a speech impediment. And that is,
boo, I know who you talking about.
Listen, but that's blocking her blessing though, because like he got all the other characteristics that she wants, but it's just that one thing that's like stopping her from like achieving her blessing. Well, it may not be her blessing, but that's the kind of guy she wants, and that's the one thing, you know.
And we're not talking about Moses, okay? It's not Moses.
He a preacher though.
Okay, see, we getting off track. Okay, so all right, so we talked about Moses. Let's tell them about another person. Tell them about David in the Bible.
David.
Yes.
Oh, David. Okay, so y'all, there's butts that we speak over ourselves, but there's also butts that other people speak over us. And David is a prime example of a butt that someone else spoke over him. In particular, it was his dad. So I don't know if y'all know this, but David was prophesied over by Samuel. Samuel came to his dad, to David's dad's house, and asked David, "Where are your sons? I need to see all your sons, because one of them is going to be the king of Israel." And David's dad brought all the sons in. And Samuel like, no, ain't none of these it. Are you sure you don't have any more sons? So the dad's like, okay, yeah, David's out with the flock. Y'all go get him. And right before Samuel went in to pick which one of the sons is going to be the king, this is what God said to him. It says, this is 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. It says, "But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him." The Lord does not look at things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. So, it was the person who was pure at heart. And we all know that David is known for being the person that was after God's heart. And that's what Samuel was looking for. He was the smallest, he was the youngest son, and yet he was the one that was being prophesied over, saying that he was going to be the king of Israel. But David's dad was like, "Nah, you sure? This one? The last one?" So, and that did not stop David from fulfilling the prophecy. He went on and did that. But if he would have listened to his dad, then that would have stopped him from doing what he was called to do. Do you have a situation where someone probably spoke something over you that could have stopped you from being who God's called you to be today?
I do, and I was sharing this story with you. So as some of y'all know, me and Chanel go way back to like the early 2000s.
Baby, he had braids.
Okay, so whatever. But one of my grade school teachers, it was my 7th grade math teacher. I was always the type of student that, I prevailed educationally.
He's still smart.
And everything. However, I was very big on respect. And I think me and my wife both agreed that a common misconception is that adults need to be respected,
but
and
they ain't
children
gotta
don't
respect the kids.
Children. And I had the biggest issue with that.
Me too.
And so I had a teacher in particular that I was not fond of, and she was not fond of me. And I can't remember the exact situation of what happened, but I basically was explaining to her that I was not going to take her talking to me the way that she was talking to me. And her response to me was that I was not Martin Luther King, and never would I be a Martin Luther King.
Wow.
And it's funny now looking at that, but I can remember when she first told me that, it was kind of almost like I was like, wow, like she's basically telling me that I'm not
gonna be anything great.
Anything great. I'm gonna be the average guy. And everything that I've done, and it's nothing that I'm taking, any credit for, but God has blessed me way beyond anything that I could have ever imagined, and nothing that I've done has been average, and it's all because of him. And that allowed me to know, even looking back on that now, I think on that sometimes when extraordinary things happen to me, and that was something that she had spoke over my life that was not true. And I still see her sometimes, and my mom sees her a lot in grocery stores, and every time she sees my mom, she always asks about me. So that was something that somebody had spoke over my life that was not true. But what about you?
Oh, I got a few things. But one thing in particular. So, like I said, I was a single mom. And I had this one friend, right? And she said, "How do you have a man? You got a child, and I can cook, I can clean. I'm about to graduate with my bachelor's degree. I was just starting college over again," okay? She was basically saying, how you got a man and I ain't got one? And so, boy, that was rough, because it's crazy how someone else can speak something to you and you kind of believe it a little bit, even if it's not true, and then you start to sabotage your own blessing. Because I really thought Jeff was too good to be true, to be honest.
You're crazy.
No, I'm for real, because I'm just like, ooh, I got all this mess, and maybe she right. Like, how is this really gonna work? And it was crazy. I'm so glad that I didn't listen to her, because I really would have missed out on the greatest blessing. I love him. But it's just, you have to not accept what other people try to speak over you, especially when you know that God has called you to greater, and he called me to him, because there's just no way that I would have saw you the way that I saw you the day that I saw you, and it just wasn't meant to be.
That's right. And something else, and then we'll move on to the last story. What this particular thing reminds me of is, have you ever dated somebody, or maybe you're dating somebody right now, and you've had a conversation with God, or God has revealed to you that that's your spouse. However, your family is telling you, well,
Right.
I don't know, well, he's cool or she's a good girl, but I don't think that's who's for you. You have to be so careful at
Who you
what
listen
and
to.
what people speak over your life. Do not allow anybody's buts to defer your mindset on what you know God has called you to,
Right.
or called you for,
Right.
because those type of things is another inhibitor of how you can prevent yourself from your blessings. So
And blessing other people.
and blessing other people.
Exactly.
So the third story. Now, this person is not, I would say, probably as prominent as of a story in the Bible, but I actually learned about him in church last week. So,
Yeah.
his name is Naaman. And Naaman was the commander of the army of Syria. Okay, so
History lesson.
let me tell you guys something. Vietnam, or not Vietnam,
Ooh.
North Korea has nothing
On
Syria. Okay. For my Call of Duty players,
Oh,
if you play Call of Duty, you want Naaman and his crew on your team. Because if he on the other team, you going down. Syria was no joke.
No, they conquered everybody.
They conquered a lot of people, okay? And so, with Naaman was a great commander. However, he had leprosy. So Naaman's wife, servant, she was an Israelite, and she had shared with his wife that if he went to Israel, that he could be healed from his leprosy.
Right.
Well, Naaman goes to his king, and he shares with him, hey, my slave girl told me that if I go to Israel, there's a prophet that can heal me. So the king was like, okay, well, cool. Well, you know what? Not only I'm going to send you there, I'm going to send you with the best. He sent him with 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 sets of clothing, okay? He sent him with the best from Fashion Nova. I'm not talking about City Trends. He sent him with the best of Fashion Nova, okay? He was ready to not only be blessed, but he wanted to be blessed in style.
Then he sent him a rump him.
Yes, he sent him a rumple. Okay, so
Bye.
anyways, he writes this letter to the king of Israel, and he sends it to him. The king is outraged. He's like, who do you think I am?
I ain't God.
I'm not God. I can't heal
nobody.
you. And so there was a prophet named Elisha. And some of you all probably are familiar with Elisha. So Elisha said, King, why you tripping? Send him to me. I got something for him. Okay.
Yeah,
So Naaman comes up to Elisha's house with his chariots and his horses and his crew. Like
was ready.
he had the posse with him. Okay. Okay. Elisha sent a slave outside.
A messenger.
A messenger.
Messenger.
Okay, he sent the messenger to him to tell him that
What
he
to
needed to
do.
go to the Jordan River and dip 7 times, and that would cure him of his leprosy. Naaman was outraged. He was upset. He was like, "Are you kidding me?
He
Do you
came
know who
all
I
this
am?
way,
I'm the
child.
king. I'm not the king. I'm the commander of Syria." What? And so he was getting ready. I don't think he was gonna go, but he
No.
ended up talking to one of his consultants or
And they saying, man, it's so simple.
yes.
What he told you to do was so simple. Why don't you just go do it?
Right.
It's worth the try.
You came all this way. Are you not gonna at least give it a try? So aren't you thankful for those people in your circle that will kind of gut check you or chin check you and be like, hey, you probably need to consider this, or hey, you tripping. You need to go dip yourself
Right.
in that river.
Bad because I would have been
Hey, okay, so long story short, Naaman goes, dips himself 7 times in the river, and he was cured, okay? And he was healed from his leprosy. So what this reminds me of is that we kind of, and if you guys hear some crazy noises, it's
our
our
dog,
crazy dog.
Chloe.
She is crazy. We love her to death. But anyways, this reminds me of situations where we think that our blessing or our husband or our wife is supposed to look like this beautiful masterpiece that's like perfect with no faults, and that it's gonna be happily ever after,
And
no
then
fighting.
it's gonna be like a ray of sunshine just beaming on them
Yeah.
once you see them, and it's love at first sight, and you guys are gonna know that first instance that you are supposed to be together forever.
That's right. It's not like
I knew
that.
Jeff in middle school. Didn't
And,
like
no, you didn't. You treated me like trash.
but I love you now, boo.
Oh, I'm glad, but you still got a lot of loving to do to make up for how you treated me. So, anyways, guys, that reminds me of that particular situation, and I think that a lot of the times, how many times do you think you maybe have walked past your spouse and you don't know it because you're thinking that it's supposed to be y'all are in church and y'all lifting y'all hands, and then in the middle of the praise break y'all make eye contact and you're just like,
oh my gosh, that's who God chose me to be with. Po thing, and then 5 seconds later his wife come and walk.
Oh
you
my
like,
God.
I thought that was them.
Right, and you had already sent your number in the offering bucket over there to him.
Oh, not an offering
You know.
bucket. Okay, whatever. But here's the thing. I think the deal is like society makes us want this like instant gratification. So we want to know like right then, like right there. Is this my spouse? We should get married today. We should get married tomorrow. And it's really not like that. It's not like that. It's a process. It takes time, but God will show you. He'll tell you. And sometimes it's not miraculous. It's not like, oh my God, the stars like draw this out. No. Like, God is going to tell you something, and it's on you to act on it. And it's just that simple.
That's right. So, to conclude, we need to make sure that we are getting our butts out of the way of what God has called for you, because only you can prevent yourself from getting your blessings. Like what did the little bear, he said only you can prevent forest fires. Wasn't that what he said? Smokey the bear. Smokey the bear. Hey,
shout out to the 90s, baby.
He was on to something.
Know.
Only you can prevent yourself, okay? So remember that. So thank you guys for watching.
Yes.
We love you all. Thank you all for all of the feedback. We've gotten some crazy, awesome stories of people, being blessed and learning and loving to hear from us and everything.
But if you have any constructive criticism, we want that.
Yes.
So you can comment below. You can send us a DM on Facebook or Instagram.
You can text us.
If you have our number.
If you have our number. You can call us if you have our number. Either way, we want it all. We want to get better, and we want to be able to share content with you guys that is relevant and that is informative.
Yes.
And that's fresh.
And that's not opinion, but truth.
That's right. So, once again, we love you guys. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next time.